Hey, good evening if you're watching live. Welcome to episode 181 of About the Cards podcast. Live tonight on YouTube, as always, with host me at our trading cards, Ben Wilson. Steph popped off, but also Stephen Loeffler at Junk Wax Twins. Andrew Renault, Bayside Breakers, is sitting in tonight, kind of pinch hit out of the bullpen. We had a late scratch. We're going to have to reschedule Chris McGill from Card Ladder. He was originally scheduled for this evening, so we'll try to buckle him down. He apologized, said he had something come up that he was unaware of that was on the calendar. So see if we get him on next month. We'd like to talk to him about that. We'll be talking about something related to Card Ladder here in a little while. So we're a podcast by collectors for collectors. We hope to bring you a smart and insightful podcast discussing trading card collecting. All cards tell a story. What stories do your cards tell?
10 Central.
Live. Yeah, absolutely. We're live even every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific, also 10 Central on YouTube.
8-ish.
Yeah, hey, we're on at 8:03 sometimes. Who knows? We like to throw a curveball. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at About the Cards. We're available as a podcast everywhere. You can find a podcast. You can check out our website, aboutthecards.wordpress.com. Till 2019, we said hi. Some quick announcements. First off, we want to thank so much Jason Mashura, Chris Carlin, and Jody Wasserman, and the entire Upper Deck team for their continued support and generosity. We surely can speak for Shep when we say thank you for the kindness and wonderful gifts. We'll share the contents in just a bit. Upper Deck surprised Steph and I and Shep with a surprise mail day that we do want to share here momentarily. But thank you guys so much for all that you do for for our shared hobby. We loved having Jason on episode 180 last week. Awesome. Great feedback. Can't wait till the next time we have either Jason, Chris, or another member of perhaps the Upper Deck Entertainment Division. That brand would be fantastic. We'd love to talk some non-sports. So really, really appreciate it. Turning to the other side of the spectrum, some sad news for collectors. Gypsy Oak, ACO Cards. Jeff Baker announced today that after 20 years of creating baseball card artwork, he is done. And that was a little somber. Commissioned him to do some pieces of my uncle and both of my boys a couple of years ago. They are amazing works of art. If you've had an opportunity to buy anything or receive anything from Jeff at Gypsy Oak in the past, it's probably a highlight of your collection. Amazing artist. And the only thing I could think of to tweet out was the Michael Scott gif of nope, don't like that. So not a fan. But hey, many blessings to him. Hopefully whatever he's choosing to do in his next chapter, makes him and his family happy. But not having Gypsy Oak's art moving forward in the hobby for many, many years to come is definitely going to be, a little bit of a dark day. I think many of us have parts of Jeff's artwork in our collection. So, Steph, you have any?
I do. I have some minis as well. He super decorated out my envelope with a Kirby Puckett. And so some other things I picked up from him across the ages.
Yeah, my dad bought a Chuck Connors one on eBay one time and was super excited because we have a personal story and attachment to Chuck Connors. And he gave it to me, and I was like, I know who did this. And he's like, you do? I'm like, yeah, you know who it is too. So, Jeff's been an incredible part of the hobby for, like you said, 20 years. So it'll be sad to no longer have new artwork. But if you have any in your personal collection, your PC is better because of it. So, all right, Andrew, I know you were not scheduled for tonight. So first off, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
I know it's been a couple of weeks, I think 2-3 weeks now. Anything new and exciting in the last, 15 days?
No, not really. I mean, it's been just getting used to December. I mean, the December is always fun in terms of release dates and breaking because just the winter weather usually plays havoc on getting deliveries in on time.
Sure.
And that's in a normal year, which this year is not. So just adjusting, flying by the seat of my pants like I always do.
So you mentioned the release calendar, which is really about the only question we have for you since you're a semi-regular now. This week's not so bad. Last week wasn't so bad, but next week, if it holds, next week's release calendar we'll get to in just a little bit. It's nasty. There's a ton coming out next week, at least scheduled. Is that going to affect you at all? I know you don't open up everything, but
so I'm actually not breaking this weekend just because we're going to be out of town. So this week or next weekend really isn't going to affect me too much, just because I'll have built up such a stash from these past 2 weeks, regardless of what gets delayed or not. It's just one of those things that you kind of have to adjust with. Stuff comes, stuff doesn't. Topps Chrome Platinum has been pushed back 20 times now. So, I mean, some of these things you kind of get a feel for what's going to be delayed, what aren't, and it's tend to be the same sets on a month-by-month basis. So you kind of get used to it, and it's not the end of the world if you just got to roll with the punches and be flexible.
Well, it's funny you mentioned Chrome Platinum specifically, because on my personal A's database, I had it slated for today. And I was like, oh, let me go grab a checklist. And I'm like, wait a minute. I didn't put it on the show notes. How did I miss? That's a pretty major, major enough release being a Topps Chrome parallel. And then I looked at Blowout and I'm like, it's sitting in January of 22. TBD, sitting there with Big League Baseball. And it's like, stop.
The thing that I don't get about certain ones of these sets is like that one was like a June or July release date initially, and it's like, okay, you push it back once or something, but it's not like there's a ton of hits on these cards. It's like one auto per box, and I have a feeling a bunch of these are going to be stickers. So I don't understand why this set wasn't produced in like March or something. And if you're going to do redemptions, It wouldn't be the first time you've ever done redemptions if you have to do them to get it out. But to me, it seems more ridiculous to have the set push into 2022 than to instead do more redemptions.
Yeah, but I was reading to Steph and Angela right before the show when I was trying to look for a checklist thinking it was coming out this week. There was like 25, 30 parallels. Everything had different colored parallels. There was like a base and then a wave and a 70th anniversary for each of the different out of 5, out of 25. And it's just ridiculous. And could just be that, Jason with Upper Deck mentioned last week, there's all kinds of supply chain related issues. It could just be you're trying to print so much, and it's not just Topps or Upper Deck or Panini. There's other industries that are probably using very similar materials. We're only focused on what happens here in this industry as it relates to the hobby, but it could very well just be something like that. And at that point, Big League Baseball, Chrome Platinum, do you really need them, or is it just?
Yeah,
I don't need Big League Baseball doesn't need to come out in January of 22 for last year. Come on.
If you're gonna push Chrome Platinum into next year, then just cancel it. I mean, the whole premise of it is it's a 70-year anniversary. If it's not on the 70th anniversary, what is it then? And
good call.
That's the only one that I really have the issue with. All the other ones, I understand delays, stuff gets pushed into next year all the time, but
not so much with baseball though.
Not so much. Baseball's pretty good, but you look at Topps, like their release calendar is pretty, like you have a good understanding of what their release calendar is on a month-to-month basis as you go through every year. So, for as much as we complain that they add new sets, they really keep the main hobby releases, I want to say, pretty consistent on a month-by-month basis. And so I feel like they kind of know their production schedule that they need to meet in a normal year. And with the pandemic and with trying to cram in a few of these extra sets, I think it just overwhelmed them at the end. And we, like you said, we'll get into it when we get into the release schedule, but they're trying to cram a ton of stuff in here in these last 2 weeks of December.
Well, and also looking at it from an economic revenue side, you have the end of not just a quarter now, but also the fiscal year, assuming that they run January 1 through 12/31, which most people do. Yeah, I mean, some people run,
especially for baseball, because that's when the season flips to the next year. So it's a easy flip point too for them.
Yeah. So I'm assuming their fiscal year runs, along the calendar lines, but at the very least, a quarter to the end of the quarter. So yeah, you're going to shove as much as you can trying to get those last minute revenues, especially when we're also talking about their debt ceiling and other things as well. It's very, very important right now. I'm sure that Topps shows as much revenue in December as possible. So let's get into the show. Last week ran a little long with Jason on, and that was awesome. We pushed a couple of things around just out of respect for him. It's always hard when you have somebody from another manufacturer on. You don't want to get into a lot of bashing other manufacturers. Out of respect, we wanted to just kind of leave some stuff for this week that wasn't quite as important. So as we mentioned, Upper Deck, very generous. They sent each of us a Upper Deck water bottle, which I'm sure is going to end up in one of my kids' hands at some point. Beautiful. And then they gave each of us a sweatshirt. And it's got the collect the best on the arm. Steph, what are you showing there?
It's a little personalized note. So happy holidays, Udi. Collect the best, as well as a personalized note to me on the inside.
Certainly.
And a happy holidays card. UDHC Swimming Holiday Card 2021 for AEW. Tis the season. I previously shared this. There's no better time than the holidays to express our sincerest appreciation to our loyal collectors, longtime partners, and valued associates. Upper Deck wishes you a dynamite.
I see what they did there.
Dynamite holiday season and hopes you enjoy this piece of collectible cheer. 2021 AEW Upper Deck.
Yeah, be fun. We're looking forward to those releases in the 2022 calendar and see what they look like and how they're rolled out, and that's exciting. Great. Addition to the catalog for Upper Deck. Very excited for wrestling collectors as well. So, and then they sent us a couple of packs. Steph, I know you could not wait. I told Steph, he's like, I got a couple of packs. I'm like, hey, let's open them up the show. And he's sending me pictures of what was inside. I'm like, seriously, man, you couldn't wait 48 hours?
Because you're like, hey, we should open on my show. I'm like, yeah, we should, except that they're already open.
I have not opened mine. So what did you get?
Along with some base cards, of course, I've got a Ryan O'Reilly. I believe it's the SPX Finite. Fancy looking card.
Nice.
On the back, it states this number 1993 of 29.99. So kind of like the mid 90s baseball release where everything was numbered to super high numbers, but in hockey for this version. And then in my second pack, there was a Gabe Velarde Ultimate Victory. Fancy looking card. Los Angeles King corner here. It's probably not going to show, but it is numbered 7.
The first one you showed is very similar to like a late 90s set. I can't recall what it was that Upper Deck did, where they've got that little medallion almost.
7 of 100.
Nice.
I had some McGuire ones that were gifted to me by my cousin that were Cardinals. That's why they wouldn't have been in my collection. And man, I got those in my hand. I'm like, these were some awesome looking cards for late 90s. And Upper Deck hadn't been around that long, maybe, a decade at that point. So still learning, a lot of new technology going on in the hobby right there at the end of the 90s and
slightly thicker. But then it's also got like a divoted little pivot in there. Nice little window.
Yeah, very similar to the ones I'm referring to in the late 90s. I don't have that set, but yeah, when I got those, I was like, did they make any more of the McGuires? Because I need to go out and get all of them because it's just a nice looking card. I don't care what team he was on. So I do have a couple packs here. I kind of pre-open them just to make it easier and also not to catch the sound of the crinkle as much as possible. Some of the base, I'm not going to read all these guys because I don't know.
No. See, that's going to be half the fun.
Come on.
Please read off.
Come on.
Names.
Okay, you got this Mark Scheifele.
Scheifele.
There you go. You guys know Kiefer Sherwood. I said that one right. Michael Del Zotto, Dmitry Kulikov,
Okay.
and then a Ovation Pius Suter by the Blackhawks. Ovation Premier Prospects.
Pious, sure.
So I said that one right. And then Josh Brown, that was easy. Look at them hooking me up with a really easy name. Scott Mayfield, there's another one. And then Max Domi.
Okay, Ty's son.
Yeah, so that I know Ty Domi. I used to play with in like the NHL '98 on the Super Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's a really
Those are nice. Yes,
really sharp looking card. You know, good full body picture of the player. It's solid. It's got embossed.
It's black stock, but
Isn't it only one T, so it's Suter instead of Sutter?
It is. What did I say, Sutter? So, but if you rub your fingers over it, it is embossed on both sides. It's got almost like almost looks like tree branches or lightning, perhaps. I mean, that's kind of what the design is. It's not probably going to pick up on the camera, unfortunately.
There was a Ovation baseball set that had raised baseball edges. Really cool.
Yeah, I love that. Again, Upper Deck's had some of the best designs we've seen over the last 30 years in this hobby. So I'm glad that they're keeping it up. So let's check out the second pack. We got Nick Ritchie, Josh Levo, probably pronounced that wrong. Alex Pietrangelo. There you go.
Pietrangelo.
Phil Kessel said that one right. Jake Allen said that one right.
Kessel.
Good Minnesota boy.
Nico Hischier. Andres starts with the last name A. I'm not going to butcher this man's name because what if he listens? And then Nolan Patrick.
Let's see it.
All right, check it out.
Athanasiou.
Yeah,
it's like happy to see you, but Athanasiou.
Okay, that helps. No, these are good. These are good looking cards. It's a nice stock. The glossy fill. I mean, that's and this is series 1, right? Is that am I mistaken?
That is the extended. So that's extended. Like update.
So it's still a flagship. Their equivalent of flagship. So and that's a good looking card for it being, not to devalue flagship at all, of course, but
design. Really, I believe the only difference is they added a few different insert types for the extended series. Kind of had a little bit more nods to throwback sets. I thought it was really fun.
Yeah, no, those are great. And again, yeah, thank you absolutely 100% for not just the packs, but the water bottle, the sweatshirt, and of course your time. We can't thank you enough for all of the time that Upper Deck has given about the cards over the last few years. Jason last week. Look forward to very many more visits on the show in upcoming months as well. Like I said, try to get one of the brand managers from the entertainment division on so we can talk some non-sports and perhaps see what 2022 might hold if we can pull back the curtain a little bit and get a sneak preview. So
I do have 3 relatively quick mail days of sorts. The first, the first 2 are a little bit older, but slipped through the cracks. Alex Visioni shared a Joe Carter auto, a Bobby Jenks auto, and an Adrian Beltre Topps Big auto. Looks like it's foiled at that.
Yeah, I thought we talked about that a while back, but maybe it was just on the old Twitter.
It's entirely possible.
The Beltre is nice because the big autos are very tough. I mean, the big cards are tough from what I understand. They're not as common. So,
but it's not a Topps big size.
No, it's not. It's the mini
standard size.
And while we're showing the Joe Carter, Matt McNeil gifted me a Gene Tennis fan favorite. Same year. What's that? 2002 Topps.
Okay.
And it came in the other day. I don't have it sitting in front of me, but I had looked at the tennis and it was like, it'd go like the 10, 11, 12. I'd get outbid and go, I'll catch the next one. I forgot to circle back, and then amazing gift. It was like, you got to be kidding me. That's cool. I did not pick one up. So I appreciate Matt for that while you're getting the next one ready.
Oh. And then Christopher Schultz /WV Cards _RHC sharing a Aroldis Chapman Transcendent VIP 1 of 1, a Beckett Sports Card Monthly. It looks like it's signed by Blake Jameson, and a Aroldis Chapman again, Transcendent VIP 1 of 1, 2 different
Pretty
designs.
sure we had this exact mail day like on episode 174.
Okay. I'm drawing
But
blanks. I saw it in the timeline. It didn't look familiar. I don't remember yesterday, guys. It's okay.
That's right. That's right.
Whoa. Hey.
I'm waiting for my mail day from Steph on the Topps holiday.
Yes,
I'll probably
you
get
are.
it. We'll talk about it in like 2024, and I have stuff for Andrew too, so I can't really talk too much smack.
I didn't want to say anything.
Sitting on my desk. In fact, I've got something from Blake Jameson that.
Oh my god!
The only
Speaking
person
of Ben's package.
the only person that I won't that I will go out of my way to add as much tape as I humanly possibly can without damaging the card is when I send something to Steph.
But also, I did want to thank the organizer for one, and whomever my surprise Secret Santa was in the Kraken Wax giveaway. I got the Pride of Minnesota, the Twins in the Turbulent 1960s, nice. Tom Henninger. Nice book. Haven't fully finished it yet. It discusses the turbulent 60s as well as the Twins going from perennial contender to not, to injuries, to where the players kind of ended up throughout after the end of the 60s. But then, unfortunately, I don't believe I have it handy. On my list, I threw together a bunch of random things. Just, hey, this looks cool. Hey, this looks cool. Hey, this is for my Jeep. Let's put that in there. Hey, let's toss this in there. And the person apparently noticed a theme and decided to send one for me and one for she, because in the package for Angela was opening it very slowly. Sorry, guys. Let's just... The gym keg. It's a little water bottle, kind of shaped like one of those that you put in like an office water filter, much smaller. But it has a handle. It has a nice little cover on it, a little pink top. So something that she can use at the gym and something I can read afterwards.
Fantastic. That's awesome. We really want to thank everybody, obviously for the kind gifts that we receive, but also all of the amazing racks that, the random acts of kindness that go out amongst other collectors that we don't get to see on a daily basis, or we do see on social media. This hobby is amazing. So we want to thank everybody. And of course, those that have shared mail days with us, we love featuring those so that we can live vicariously through other collectors that don't collect what we collect. And that's what's amazing about the hobby, is we get to kind of live through it all through other people. So please feel free to share with About the Cards your recent awesome mail days or pulls. You can tag @About the Cards on Twitter. You want to do a video, 60 seconds or less, please keep it G-rated, and then do the hashtag About the Cards mail day, and we'll do our best to get you on an upcoming episode.
I do believe there was somebody that said they wanted to do a video mail day. I forget who or what it was they were getting, but looking forward to it.
Yeah, let's do it. We'd love it. We had Herman Bryant, 3B Collection, did one from you, Andrew.
Yep.
So it was kind of crossed two different T's at the same time. So that was awesome. That was our first and only so far. So we'd love to have another one. So if you're opening up the Upper Deck Series 1 when it comes out, at the beginning of next year, definitely shoot us, some of the hits you get out of that. The week that was last week's releases, Topps Living Week 196, card 473, A's legend, Royals legend, Frank Schwindel, first baseman of the Cubs. And card 474, perhaps, if not mistaken, the first Cleveland Guardians card made by Topps. Tristan McKenzie. Rookie card, Jared Kelly art was the producer of that card. Kind of a light week overall. Panini 1 came out last Wednesday. All of these came out last Wednesday. 2021 Panini Spectra Football. 2021 Topps Chrome Black, which is a sharp set. And then Topps Heritage High. So can't wait to pick up some of the Chrome Black. It's a much smaller checklist for me this year, so maybe I get some of the parallels, the blues, the purples, the greens. They look really good. So We'd love to see if you got any hits out of that. Share them at About the Cards. We'd love to see what Chrome Black had for you. Hot off the presses, new releases this week. Topps Living Week 197. This is a good 2-pack. If you haven't picked it up, you might want to grab it. Card 475. Manny Ramirez, outfielder for the Red Sox. And 476 rookie card, Ke'Bryan Hayes, third baseman for the Pirates. And Ke'Bryan Hayes is Jared Kelly's art. I was actually able to tag Charlie Hayes, his dad, on Facebook and got a like out of that. So maybe Charlie will buy a couple of his. I mean, the Ke'Bryan is a great card. And I asked Cardboard Stats Matt on Twitter. I was like, interesting that Manny Ramirez. I know Red Sox Indians maybe splitting hairs, and he's like, they might not have done Indians because then you'd have to get the license for it. And I don't know how that would play into it. Whether or not Topps Living wants to do any Indians like that. I mean, they're going to have to if they do Legends, of course. But
it's a good Manny.
Yeah, it is. It's a good 2-pack. If you haven't bought a 2-pack in a while, this might be a good one. So, Topps Living Star Wars available through next Tuesday. Card 265 Vober Dand Star Wars: The Force Awakens, and then card 266 Moff Tian Jared Star Wars
Jared
Gerard. Okay. I want to say they've done him before, and you were on before, and I mispronounced it before, and you corrected me. I'm having a weird day.
No, it was a different Star Wars Living. It was a different one.
Okay. Do you remember that though, or am I making this up?
No, I did. I did on another Star Wars one.
And you corrected me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Isn't he the one that gets replaced after the other guy gets choked out on the deck?
No, because
that's in A New Hope.
That's Return. Yeah, this is Return of the Jedi. I believe he is the number 2 commander on the Super Star Destroyer. If I'm not mistaken.
At you with some canon knowledge.
I believe. I think he's on the Super Star Destroyer. I don't know if I think he's the number 2 guy.
You can be wrong. You can be wrong. That sounded sexy. It was just like rolled it off like
it's all about the conviction.
Number 2. That's what it is, man. You sold that really well. Topps Throwback Thursday available through tomorrow morning. This is the first set of. I didn't put it on. I think it's the 1988 highlights, if I'm not mistaken, from memory. I haven't looked at this in a couple of days. I didn't add it to the show notes. It's set number 49.
So when I
card one.
Face the wrath of both Sith Lord Darth Vader and Emperor Sheev Palpatine when a massive construction effort fell behind schedule.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so he was the one in the beginning when the Emperor came and the Death Star. He greeted the Emperor and Vader at the Death Star and saying they were behind schedule and he needs more men.
Gotcha.
That's right.
So
okay,
that's right. Moded in your face.
Yeah, that was wrong.
But you still sold it really well, though. I loved it.
Didn't I?
You did. Steph, Throwback Thursday, is it 88 highlights?
I do
team leaders or something like that?
It's loading.
Card 145 Babe Ruth, 146 Bo Bichette with the short print, and 147 Miguel Cabrera. So again, good looking cards, man.
I dig it.
Yeah.
It's 88 or 87? No, I'm sorry, that's not right. 88 or 89, I think.
Yeah, it's 88 baseball team leaders.
Orange backs are 88, yeah.
Yeah. That would be a fun set to put together if you have nostalgia. Yeah, and it also says right there next to it,
But I mean, apparently you can't take Topps at their word for what text they put on the back.
Fair enough.
Are you foreshadowing here?
I might be.
So we had a couple big releases. 2021 Panini Flux, Flux. Flux. Basketball comes out today. About 350. Yeah, about $315 a box. According to Cardboard Connection, it was sold out already on Blowout. You're going to get 10 packs in a box, 5 cards in a pack. So get 50 cards. It is the debut. This is the first one. It's using the OptiChrome technology. It's a 250 card base set, 200 vets, 50 rookies. You should be getting 1 uncirculated encased insert, and then a parallel or an autograph box topper, as well as 1 auto, 1 atmosphere insert, 3 additional inserts, 1 insert prism, and 3 silvers. So, overall it sounds like fair value for, in today's market, $300.
What does an uncirculated encased insert mean? Does that just mean they put it in a one touch right away for you? Aren't these cards all uncirculated?
I thought literally, I almost put that as a show note comment. So I'm glad you said that, because that's literally what I thought. It's like it's uncirculated. It's brand new.
Unless they put it in a one touch before it gets out. So
With
that
the
would
doctor
be
gloves.
maybe. Yeah, that would be the only thing I could think of.
If you're opening some Panini Flux and you're listening and you've got something, let us know what that means, because it's all uncirculated till it gets circulated. But Topps Allen and Ginter Chrome. This is year 2. It's coming out today, about $150 a box. You'll get 18 packs, 4 cards a pack. You'll get 6 base refractors, 18 mini base, 7 inserts. And then, much like last year, on-card autos are 1 per case. Andrew, you just opened some of this, didn't you? You got some?
Yeah, I got one box. I got, just show them off there.
Yeah, show some of the colored parallel. The blue, I believe, is new for this year.
There's Mr. Laureano.
That's the base.
And then parallels, we got here's a green. Zoom out a little bit there.
So it changes the globe
on the back, yeah. Versus before, it was the whole card. It really popped before. But I will say here, the blues
nice.
Okay. Blues look nice.
The blues
kind of has an ornament look to it, kind of all 1959 Topps.
Yeah, the blues are very nice in hand. I will say that. I don't know how well it showed up.
Blues are out of 150, greens out of 99, and golds out of 50, I believe.
Yes.
So blue will be your most common non-refractor. I think it's your first colored parallel. Matt Major in the YouTube chat says, as far as the encased, he thinks it's sealed, more like a graded card than a one-touch.
Except that it's one touch.
Is it a one touch with just a sticker seal?
Yeah.
Okay. With the black on it too. The black one touch. You don't see that very much.
Ultra does put out black 35 points.
Yeah, well, I know they do, but nobody really buys them, I thought.
I do.
So yeah, Panini Flux, new product. If you get something exciting, let us see it. We'd love to share your hits with you. And then Allen Ginter Chrome back for its second run. See how long this one sticks around. 2021 Bowman Inception is releasing Friday, $200 a box. You'll get 1 pack, 7 cards, 100 card base set, 2 autos. Pretty common these days. Just another Bowman product.
That's your standard Inception rate for autos.
Yeah, Inception's kind of hit or miss. It's usually got a very unbalanced checklist if you go like into team breaks. Panini Contenders Baseball is coming out on Friday the 17th. $120 a box. Very similar to like Elite Extra. You're going to get 6 packs. You're going to get 18 cards a pack. It says on average 6 autos, 18 base or parallels, and then 24 insert base or parallels. So, if you're into non-licensed, the unlicensed stuff, Contenders a lot like Elite. Gives you some decent value. I mean, if you're getting... What'd I say?
You said completely unlicensed. It's not fully unlicensed.
No, okay.
Partially licensed.
If you like the non-logos, you're okay with that. Contenders, I think Elite Extra Edition perhaps is coming out next week. They are good overall value. You're getting 6 autos on average. A lot of these boxes net an extra auto or 2.
Yep.
It's young players. I don't know about Contenders.
The checklist is actually pretty solid for Contenders, I think, this year. Compared to most years.
Guys, this is your sales sheet, presumably from Panini. Props, they put out a sales sheet before it came out. Right?
They always do that with the draft picks, though. That's standard for them.
But it's funny to look at when it says player name.
I know it's funny,
because if it was Topps, that's exactly how one of these cards would come out.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only difference is Topps would ship that out looking like that. At least Panini only does that on the sell sheet.
Yeah, and so I'm assuming because it does mention the 2021 draft class, they probably prepped this in like July, late June, early July.
Yeah, when they had no idea. I think you'll see when you get to Triple E that the same thing is probably happening.
I do like the look on the 98 retros. That's kind of cool. I dig that.
Mm-hmm.
Contenders. I mean, it's a great football set. Has been for years. I don't know if it's been surpassed by other football releases in more recent years. But I know for a long time, Contenders was the it card, to have, that first auto.
It certainly is for Brady.
Yeah, well, I think because it's one of the oldest Panini sets, probably.
Yeah, there's always
that's
debate.
Still in continuation.
The debate of what's flagship. Is it Score? Is it Donruss? Is it Contenders? Is it something else? And
Prism.
But Panini Impeccable Football also comes out Friday. Grab this price on Cardboard Connection, $1,800 a box. 1 pack, 8 cards. You're going to get 5 autos, 3 base or parallels, and then 1 silver or gold will drop per case.
Yeah,
so, probably some pretty slick stuff. I mean, obviously it's expensive, but hey, you're getting 5 autos. So if you nail a big boy, there's probably going to be some boxes that are going to have some good return. And you
have literally a 1 in 3 chance of getting a precious metal.
Interesting. So, good looking product, if the price point doesn't deter you. And then also releasing this week, 2021 Topps All-Star Rookie Cup. It's a Montgomery Club exclusive. It was $50 a box. And that came out yesterday, I believe, and it actually had a ship date. I saw the release date was 12/14, but it'll ship by December 8th through December 10th. So it's like, well, that's interesting. Good old Marty McFly is in the shipping department. And then Friday the 17th, Onyx Premium Baseball Collection. So not a ton, a couple major releases. All scheduled release dates are subject to change, but we're current as of this morning. MSRP pricing, product details were gathered from Blowout and a couple from Cardboard Connection. So kind of gives you an idea of where we're going to be at as far as the price points. Check out Ryan Cracknell's articles on Beckett.com/news for more details on these releases as it becomes available. What's brewing next week? It is slated to be a heavy week on 12/20. I know this is not baseball cards, but it's a really cool release each year. 2021 Leaf Auto Mini Football Helmets. Those are always fun if you ever see a break of those. And then on the 21st is Panini Immaculate UFC. On the 22nd, the following will be 2021 Panini Donruss Soccer, 2021 Panini Mosaic Basketball Fast Break, 2021 Topps Dynasty Baseball, 2021 Topps NHL Sticker Collection, 2021 Topps Star Wars Stellar Signatures, 2021-22 Upper Deck MVP Hockey. And then on Friday, December 24th, Christmas Eve, we're going to have 2021 Panini Elite Extra Edition Baseball, 2021 Panini Flawless Baseball, and 2021 Panini Illusions Football. So for those keeping score at home, there are slated 6 Panini releases.
Flawless is going to get pushed. I can guarantee that.
I do believe that's additionally also for Upper Deck's first hockey release of the year for 21-20.
Good. It'd be fun to see what they've got. So busy week. It'd be interesting to see. Again, Panini has 6 slated. Upper Deck has 1. It looks like Topps has 3, and Leaf has the mini helmets. So how much of that holds and how much of it gets pushed back? But if they're pushing it back, I mean, at least football and hockey can bleed into another year, without it being an issue. It's the baseball ones that are.
It's an issue.
Panini's got 6 releases, but they're 5 different sports. So
yeah, so it's not it's not necessarily hitting the same consumer, right?
Yeah.
All right, so our infield chatter, hobby talk. As Porky Pig said, that's all, folks, via Ken Kinsley by way of Topps. Ken was the first one that had tweeted about this. Now, Panini had announced a few weeks back that they've acquired the WWE license beginning, as the release said, sometime in Q1 of 2022. Topps announced via email to their WWE Living subscribers that December 2021 will be their final month producing the set. Steph, you want to read that press release?
I can do that, I believe. So this email is regarding your weekly subscription of the 2021 Topps WWE Living Set 2-card bundle. We just wanted to let you know that due to circumstances beyond our control, the 2021 WWE Living Set subscription and program will come to an end later this month. As part of your current subscription, you will continue to receive cards offered on Topps.com for the remainder of this month. Your credit card on file will no longer be charged once the program completes this year. We apologize for any inconvenience this may cause, and we thank you for your support of this program over the years. Thank you again, the Topps team.
There are 2 questions I have from that email. Circumstances beyond your control.
That was one that I had. Yep.
And support the program over the years. I thought this thing had only been around for a few months.
No, it's my second one.
Oh, that's fun.
I honestly didn't. I honestly thought it had only been around for like 6 months or something.
It hasn't been around long.
Yes.
Yeah.
Presumably there'll be 4 more cards, 2 next week and 2 the final week of the year. I mean, unless they've got artwork ready, maybe they drop a handful at the end of the year, which wouldn't surprise me. But
there'll be as many Project 70 cards as they drop, or 2020.
and Project 70 right now is slated at the pace that they're going to finish right around 4th of July next year. My first thought was this, as President Bartlett always said on the West Wing, what's next? Because we know some of these products, as these licenses start shifting hands, this isn't going to be the last time people get an email like this from Topps or Panini.
Thanks,
so Matt Major says that it started in January of 21, so it officially made it a year, and it would have continued.
Yeah, no,
obviously,
yeah. But just the way it was written makes me think like, oh, I didn't know it was going that long, but I guess it really
they made it sound like it's been going on a decade. That's what's funny is it's the set that never ends. It's going on forever and ever, or until you lose the license, buddy.
Yeah.
So, Steph, if you want to get this tweet ready, do your research homework.
I refuse.
Always do your research homework before you buy something, anything, not just cards. This came via Johnny Breaks. The onus is on the buyer to do ample and sufficient research before buying anything. Check reviews, have a mechanic take a look, etc., etc. Steph, why don't you read a little bit of it before we get into it?
You mean before I buy an off-road vehicle, I need to check to make sure that it didn't rust out the bottom? I can't just buy it sight unseen?
If the guy says it's good to go, it's good to go. Why would he lie?
I see. So, hi, looks like I got the card. Super excited too. Okay, cool. Like the start on this one. Quick question, if you don't mind, about the card. My wife noticed white specks on the slab. Gem 9 PSA, in my opinion, are typically flawless to the naked eye. Just confirming that the white specks are not actual defects in the red foil. Appreciate your time and patience by my asking this. Picture attached to show what my wife is pestering me about, reading it as written. In the red above the shoulder on right side and also on throat. Looks like it is a Otani, I want to say. Really tiny picture there. Actually, it mentions here 2014 Topps Update Red Foil Mookie Betts. Okay, so I was wrong. I respect your communication. If the red hot foil had been compromised in any way, showing specks in the card backing, this threatens the grade of the 9 PSA blessed it with when it was graded. Okay, fair. As you know, PSA is one of the most reputable and particular grading companies in existence. A PSA 9 is virtually perfect. Any flaw that PSA saw warranting that 9 grade, you or myself most likely are not able to see why. A PSA 9 is essentially perfect. If the foil has fallen off, I would rightfully be disappointed. I understand there's someone out there that would buy a compromised PSA 9 knowing they got a great deal. I would like a great deal on a PSA 9 that is in fact a PSA 9. I love the card, but want to leave the decision to you. If the card is perfect and it's just the lighting, by all means, send it to me, please. But in all fairness to me, knowing that I am expecting a damn near perfect card and it's not, let's cancel and we'll both live to do business another day. Thank you. So, this seems to me like somebody who's never going to be appreciative, nor are they going to be happy with whatever you send them. You
Yeah.
cancel, cut your loss, and move on.
Yeah, any thoughts, Andrew? I mean,
this is why I don't do graded cards. Or when I buy a graded card, I buy it for the card and break the case.
I love when the buyer talked about how thorough and reputable PSA was, and a PSA 9 is almost perfect. It's like, it's not though. It's a 9. It's not a 10. And even if it was a 10, and they're like, oh, a PSA would see it, and we wouldn't. Really? They can tell how perfect a card is in the 20 seconds that they spend on each one. So, moral of the story, it's probably a buyer's remorse. This guy went into a very lengthy explanation as to why he wants to back out of the sale.
His wife said it has damage.
I don't know about you guys, but my wife does not look at my baseball cards. She could care less about them.
So the seller can't tell the difference between a 9 and not a 9. The buyer can't, but the buyer's wife can. And I'm not poking fun because it's the wife, but I'm assuming that she's just like the kid who bid on the card, where it's her fault. I need to back out because she noticed something, just like the kid who used my eBay account to buy something.
Here's my question too. Isn't the whole point of getting the card graded is to have a independent third-party person say how great the card is? If you are not agreeing with what PSA says, then why are you saying that PSA is a reputable company? Either they're a reputable company or you don't agree with what they did. You can't have it both ways. If PSA says it's a 9 and you think PSA is the reputable company in the standard, then it's a 9. You can't say it's not a 9 then and say PSA is the best grading company. Not that I agree with that, but that's what this person's trying to say.
Yeah, he definitely contradicts himself more than once. So again, as a buyer, do your research. As a seller, you're kind of, if you choose to sell on eBay, you're going to deal with knuckleheads like this. There's plenty of examples. Speaking of doing your research, someone was using Facebook to scam people under the guise of being Tops. So 'tis the season. Tops, if you're aware on Twitter, has been doing as well as Facebook, I suppose, has been doing a 25 days of Tops Christmas giveaway each day with a different product or whatnot, asking different questions. What's your favorite year? Tag somebody, retweet, different options to submit your name in for the the prize. Someone used a fake Tops Facebook account to spoof the giveaway, however. Then in the DMs, they would say, hey, Andrew, hey, Steph, you guys won. Please submit your credit card via the Stash app to verify your identity, and then we'll send you what you won. Please be aware of scams like this. We see it all the time. Company such and such will never ask for your login information, your credit card information. Your Apple ID has been compromised. Sorry, I've never done business with Apple. How would it be compromised?
I get calls all the time wanting to talk about our AT&T TV rates. Like, 1, don't have a contract with AT&T. 2, the house doesn't have a contract with AT&T. So I would love to know this contract that we're going to be talking about and what it is. Not that AT&T isn't a reputable company, but you're not.
Yeah.
And I do believe there was someone on Facebook that was going on doing this, changing their user profile to closely match the name of several people that have either been known to do giveaways or it was just like have the exact same profile picture, have the exact same header image, and then shoot someone a message asking, well, when are you going to pay me my PayPal rates, and then we can talk about exposure and whatnot. So never feel embarrassed to ask, hey, can you verify that this is you? The easiest way, at least on social media, is if this were the person that I'm trying to talk to, and this is the person that say, hey, congrats, you've won. Don't just reply to a message that comes to your inbox. Hey, on the reply that says I've won, click. This is a guaranteed 100% their profile. Click the message, shoot them a thing saying, hey, was this you? If not, we need to talk. Someone is spoofing your account.
yeah, it's really easy to fall victim to something like this during this time of year. The person who did post this Anthony Casey, I believe it was he who, and again, I might be mistaken, but I believe it was he who reported this on Facebook to Facebook, and Facebook refused to take it down, citing it did not pose a danger to the community. So apparently, Facebook doesn't see it as a danger that there's somebody out there asking for people's private credit card information and other personal information. Apparently, that's
You
not a
mean to
danger.
say that Facebook doesn't care about individual privacy?
Hey, God forbid that you post a meme on Facebook that you found on Facebook and you get a 30-day suspension. But,
You know, I logged into the app the other day, and they apparently reported and had deleted a meme that I posted in 2007. Guys, it's been up for 14 years. I don't think you needed to block me for 7 days for that.
Yeah, there was one I saw that somebody said that they got in Twitter
I mean, it
jail
was in poor
for
taste, but I was 14 years younger. Come on, I was 20.
Yeah, but yeah, there's one of the days that somebody that follows our show or follows us on Twitter is like, I caught a jail sentence on Facebook for something that like literally was just a response. It was not wrong in any way. It said something, I forget what it was exactly, but it's just like, good Lord, Facebook, you'll take crap down that has. I mean, I got a suspension one time because I said that I was fat and not overweight during a conversation with friends. And it was just in a thread, and they're like, use the word fat. You called somebody fat. I'm like, yeah, I was using it to describe the fact that according to my BMI, you know what, Facebook, fine. I'll sit this one out for 30 days. I mean, their algorithm, this is literally asking people for private information in an attempt to scam and defraud, but it doesn't pose a danger. But, you know, you've got questionable sense of humor on a meme, which is supposed to be for fun to make you laugh. Like it, don't like it. Laugh, don't laugh. But if I found it on Facebook, how are you going to get me in trouble? Anyway.
Private chat. I'll open up the next one. Fun with eBay, speaking of. Via Patty Collects. Patty, real name unknown, sold a select NBA blaster on eBay. Okay, cool. Says he shipped it out same day as the payment. Then the person, Durtho-76, wrote this. And it's loading up here right now. 1 second.
It's rather long if you want to just skim it.
Sure.
Skim it or highlight it if you want.
I can. So this essentially is just stating exactly the same thing. They bought, paid for, has an ETA. It's even going to leave my post office. I'm just going to tell the postmaster return to sender. Okay, so tracking says ETA maybe Monday. This does not work for me. I will not tamper with it at all. It's not even going to leave my post office. I'm just going to tell the postmaster return to sender. Thanks, and hope to hear from you soon. So here's the tracking details, where it shows that on December 1st, processor USPS facility. On the 3rd, it went from New Jersey to Sacramento. Sacramento, it went from presumably this person's location in California. And then it got flagged as missent after arriving at the unit. The box of cards on first for me had a delivery date of February the 3rd. You had made no effort to contact me whatsoever. I already contacted eBay and I want a full refund. Complete refund. Absolutely nothing on my end was my fault. I hope you accommodate my request. Tracking says blah, blah, blah. Okay, but my dude, look. Everything right now is currently delayed.
It's coming earlier, though.
It arrived exactly on that day.
It arrived on the 3rd.
Exactly. But it had the estimated arrival on December the 6th. And, you know, after he sent it, it doesn't matter because that doesn't mean that it wasn't going to arrive exactly on time. So, no, screw you. I haven't heard from you at all. Okay, but where's the onus on him? He's already listed it. It's sold. He's packaged it. He shipped it. Why is he just going to reach out every other day and ask you, hey, did it arrive? Hey, did it arrive? Hey, did it arrive? Hey, did it arrive? No, he's done his job. He's fulfilled it. He's shipped it. It's gone.
That's the point of the whole tracking.
Now, if the person wants to reach out after 5 days because it seems stuck Or if there's no tracking update, okay, sure, ask. And, maybe the person clarifies what the problem is. Or, well, my mail post office was closed on Friday. Saturday, they don't do deliveries. Sunday, they're closed because USPS. And Monday, they came and picked it up. Okay, fine, sure. Maybe your apartment complex was too full, rejected a certain amount of the packages, and it gets delivered on Tuesday.
Well, and there's a reason you can't open up a claim until the estimated ship date has passed.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, when a seller ships something, even though it goes to a third party, presumably, USPS, it is out of your hands. It's now the post office responsibility to get it from point A to point B safely and timely. And that's not always the case. We've had issues. I mean, I bought something back in July. They got stuck in New York. Then I got stuck in Chicago a month later. And I finally, went to the seller and I got my money back. And it's like, this item's never coming. It literally showed up like 2 weeks ago, 6 months late.
Thanks, Tops.
And but yeah, you look at it and go, anyway, there's a lot of knuckleheads on eBay. We could go on and on and on. I mean,
so there's apparently a new rule at PSA.
Yes.
In addition to a new employee, they announced they announced that they're bringing back their regular service, and an announcement that is currently loading. However, from industry sources, I've happened to pick up that if you, for example, submit a card that has been previously graded, and that they can detect that it has already been graded and it's cracked out, for example, card number 50 of 76 for one example, right? And card number 50 of 76 comes back through, they will not accept it unless you return it with the slip that's at the top of the grading tab. The slip, whatever it calls it. I thought that was interesting.
Duh. I mean, shouldn't you have to return it? If I'm asking you to reslab something, Steph, and shouldn't I have to send you back?
I think if you're getting it regraded,
if they detect that it comes back through, you have to return it with the slab.
But we already know that they don't do this because wasn't there one? There was, you guys were talking about this a few weeks ago, where there was the Soto Reds that are numbered to 5. The inventory had like 8 of them, so they've been graded 8 times, and there was only serial numbered to 5.
Maybe it's coming back again, or
Well,
maybe it's a new change.
So they weren't catching it beforehand.
We've talked about that in pop reports being considerably, inaccurate, because how many times has the same card been subbed? There's no way of knowing because there's no consistency in the regrading process. And so when you look at a number and it's like, oh, there's 17,000 Zions, it's like, but are we talking about 17,000 individual cards, or maybe 13,000 with a handful of them chasing a 10 because it got a 9.5 and it never was removed before it was added, so it's been doubly counted. So another announcement real quick from PSA before we
the regular service.
This is the regular service.
Will reopen this month. With the return of regular, we are introducing a new submission management process that will allow us to monitor demand. We are testing this process with regular in preparation for the eventual return of value and other lower priced service levels in 2022. Specifically, the first phase will involve virtual queuing events. Regular submissions will be priced at $100 per card with a limited number of allocations awarded in each event. As we advance the submission allocation system, we will continue to fine-tune pricing options and allocation levels. To take part in these events, you will need to have an active account at psacard.com, which should have been obvious. Please visit the site and register now if you do not already have a PSA account. You can learn more, blah, 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 blah. More to be released via social media regarding the first event in December. So it sounds like they're doing similar to what was it, HGA, where you had to be in line and then they would select out 1,000 people and then they could submit however many, whatever limited amount. And they would routinely hold these at certain times. I guess that's really one way to limit the amount that come through, but at the same time, who's going to game the system? Have 5 computers up and running, clicking refresh every 30 seconds.
Well, so I'm wondering. So this kind of makes me think about when back in the day when I would go to Comic-Con. Initially, it was trying to get tickets. You sit there with 5 computers and hit refresh, 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 until what they ended up changing it to was everybody gets into a virtual waiting room, and then whoever is in the virtual waiting room at the time the tickets release, they put everybody into a line, and then you know what number you are, and that's how it works like that. So I'm hoping that they do something like that, so that way that would avoid having people sit there with 5 different computers. I'm not hopeful in the beginning, but maybe they'll figure it out when the time comes.
Hey, interesting. So a topic that we were going to get into last week, and we just kind of ran out of time. And honestly, with Andrew being on this evening, it worked out well that we held this topic back. Andrew, are you familiar with Damian Oliveira?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So Damian D-Rob, he's a huge soccer collector, perhaps the largest or most well known. This came across our windshield. Somebody who collects soccer cards kind of threw this in our DM and said, "Hey, check this out, discuss it. Don't mention where it came from." So I'm not familiar with Damian Oliveira. Full disclosure, I don't collect soccer, so that I'm glad you're on here. Back on September 6th, 2021, Damian tweeted this out. What's it say, Steph?
Get ready for more, What's coming next for the football soccer cards world market will be insane. Remember this by now.
All right, so
hashtags, fire emojis, etc.
If I'm not mistaken, he's got a very large and healthy, expensive soccer PC. Mm-hmm. Is that correct?
Yes, he is. I think I've seen pictures of him with Ronaldinho getting autographs from him in person. Okay. He's a big messy guy too, obviously, based on the picture that you see him with a ton of those. But yeah, he is. He definitely has, as far as I know, he is one of the largest, and he's a very large soccer collection, not just cards, as you can see. I've seen a bunch of jerseys of.
Well, he was. He was a very large collector. Mm-hmm. On September 6th, he tweeted that out. No big deal, right? He's letting people know to buy soccer. Well, on December 1st, 2021, Damian also tweeted out that in 2022, he's now partnered with Golden Auctions to sell off his entire soccer collection. I don't know if that's just the card portion or memorabilia as well, but now he, Steph, if you want to read that as well.
Yep. So it does say my soccer collection, not necessarily card collection. So I would assume this involves all of the other miscellaneous non-card stuff too. But huge announcement today with @Ken Golden. We'll be auctioning my soccer collection in 2022. Yeah, global auction. We'll be traveling together to promote it. It's going to be huge. You can rewatch the stream here. Tomorrow night, I'll be a guest on Ken Golden IG Live, and we're taking soccer cards and more. Believe me, you don't want to miss the live stream. What's the announcement? Tweet, post, message.
All right. So first off, absolutely 100% his right to sell off whatever he wants whenever he wants. It's his collection. If he doesn't want to collect anymore, he's absolutely welcome to do so. Now, having said that, considering the size of his collection and probably some of the pieces in his collection, if he's doing it all at once, it's going to flood the market. And it's going to definitely impact the secondary soccer market. So I'm going to defer to you, Andrew. Knowing what he has, what is this going to look like? I mean, are we talking about, a bubble bursting because now all of a sudden you have a lot of high-end stuff? Is this going to draw more attention to the soccer market? I mean, what are we looking at as far as the economic impact of that market?
So I would say in any other year, there might be a bubble burst. However, 2022 is going to be enormous for soccer cards, I'm predicting. With the World Cup coming at the end of next year and the US poised to do extremely well. Um, you already saw last year's soccer card market get really explosive towards the end of the year. Um, so I would say that if it weren't 2022, you might see a little bit of a downturn. That being said, this guy's stuff is not it's not common stuff. He has very rare cards, very expensive cards. I think I would not be surprised if at least one of these cards, I don't know what the record is for the most expensive soccer card ever. I would not be surprised if one of these broke that. And that would just bring more attention to the soccer card market. So I don't think it's actually going to burst the bubble because of the timing that he's taking. And I, I don't know him personally. I've seen a few of his stuff, but I think he's a smart guy, and I think he knows that this is probably a good time to do it. Maybe you'd want to wait another 4 years till the World Cup in the U.S., but with this guy right here, Holland being as hot as he is, I mean, these are he's got a lot of the most expensive cards. Yeah, 432,000 for that card. Yeah, I see. I mean, he is this Holland guy is he's number one right now, and
so for a guy like this, with his collection, if it's as good. I mean, you're substantiating what the person that threw this across our windshield, had said as well. This is a big deal. It's one of two things. Either one, he's selling into the up market, where you've got this upward trajectory, more eyes are on the sport, so he's going to capitalize on some perhaps temporary money coming in, or you have a down market where you're selling before the market tanks and you're basically cashing out. So, I mean, you're basically.
I think it's more on the first.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I think just what I mean. His main collection is Messi. Everybody knows who Messi is. Messi's not going anywhere.
And because it's a higher end collection, it's a limited market, so it's not.
It's not like he's. I can tell you right now, I'm not going to be able to afford probably most of his cards, even if I wanted them.
Gotcha. Okay. I was just curious because obviously, you have somebody of his stature within a very, this whole market is fragmented, and so you have even more so when you talk about soccer, and then it's high end specific players, and that market gets smaller and smaller and smaller as you go to the next line item, and break it down even more. So it'll be interesting to see. I don't know exactly when this auction is going to roll out, but if we can get some information on it once it rolls out, we'll definitely report on it and kind of keep an eye and have to rely on you and perhaps other soccer collectors for the impact.
2 questions from chat. Love to see the soccer market grow. Have you seen the value of MLS clubs versus Champion League clubs?
Are you talking about card values or actual club values?
I would assume card values here.
Okay, yeah, because I mean, club values. Most soccer teams are actually the most valuable in the world. Some of the big ones in England, but actually, MLS is on fire right now. Last year's MLS sets, Chrome and base, were actually very solid sets. There was a couple of kids in there. Aronson from Philadelphia, he's going to move up to a big name club. And 2 years ago, you had this kid, Ricardo Pepi, who's just taken Team USA by storm recently. He will likely transfer, if not in this January window, in the summertime to a big club in Europe. And, their rookie cards, they'll have a rookie card over for when they join the new leagues, but their first cards are MLS cards. So MLS is actually becoming a very strong talent pipeline for some of these bigger clubs. It's not, I wouldn't consider it like a minor league in that regard, because the MLS still has value, still has broad appeal, and it's actually getting stronger each and every year. So MLS is definitely a rising league in both card value and just overall appeal to Americans.
And then someone was questioning what's the jersey and the reason behind it. Apparently, they're not a LA Chargers fan.
This is actually San Diego. I mean, I went to college in San Diego back in the days of LT and Merriman and Rivers, and now that I live up here in LA and the Chargers followed me.
What, no, Junior Seau?
That was a little before my time, but I liked it.
For shame. For shame. Bye, Andrew.
So Paul Lesko tweeted out last week. This is one of the topics we had held back due to respect. Tweeted out that Fanatics has filed for a slew of new trademarks focusing on trading cards. You can check out Paul Lesko's timeline if you'd like to see what they are. A lot of it's just jargon. It's just Fanatics starting to get ahead of things. To quote the Joker from Batman: The Dark Knight, and here we go. So two factoids here. One, not a trademark filing, but apparently Reddit is planning to go public tomorrow or shortly soon. Interesting.
As well, it's funny that you mentioned The Dark Knight, in that buddy, pal, hobby insider Ivan Lobgren is in that movie.
Is he?
He is.
Where?
Well, why don't we see if any of our listeners can tell us, and maybe we'll do something next week.
Interesting. Now I need to know where, because so just as a side note real quick, I've got Mojo Break in the background, as I typically do on Wednesday nights. They're actually opening Panini Flux, Speak of the Devil, and a couple of the cards are coming out of the boxes with a noticeable curvature to them. There's not very many, but a couple in each box, it looks like. That could be the Optichrome technology. Obviously, we know with Topps Chrome, was it 2011, 2012, where they were almost crescent shaped with the bow. So just buyer beware. Keep an eye on that.
That's kind of standard. That's standard with Panini's Optichrome. If you open up Chronicles enough, some of those cards, I think Phoenix was one that tended to have the curve to it because it was full Optichrome.
These Mosaic cards I just opened today.
Okay. Just buyer beware. If you know that that's the way they come out of the packs, fantastic. But if you don't know, don't be surprised. So, all right, seriously, Topps. Reason 1073 why some collectors won't be sad to see them lose their license, via Ryan Cracknell, the first one to tweet about this that I had seen. 2021 Topps WWE Heritage has a variation of wrestler Otis. The image, a worm. Apparently that's his wrestling move that Otis uses, but come on. We've seen pictures of Bitcoin and eggs and other nonsense in A&G, and now this crap. Ryan also shared that Nakamura has a variation as well. He wears a crown, so the card is a picture of a crown.
A crown.
Not him wearing a crown, just the crown. I mean, what is this, Burger King? SC Uncensored actually had a tweet, if you want to pull that up. It's in the notes, Steph. He shows 6 of the variations side by side. These are short prints. How short printed, I don't know, but I guess they all have something to do with their respective wrestler of choice. And what are we looking at here besides the worm and the crown?
So you've got Mandy Rose with, Rose. You have Baron Corbin with a husky, or maybe a wolf. Randy Orton with a snake. You have Sasha Banks with a stack of money, and Shinsuke Nakamura with a crown. I do believe there's also one that has a gorilla on it, I want to say.
I believe Randy Orton's is technically a viper.
What's a viper? Okay.
Do you know, Andrew, what the relevance to any of these are, other than, the rose and the rose?
I know Sasha Banks is like, her whole thing is she's like the boss with the money. She's Snoop Dogg's cousin, so it's like her whole spiel when she enters, kind of deal. Like you said, Nakamura has worn the crown. And Randy Orton is, I think his nickname is the Viper, so that's where that came from. I'm not too familiar with Otis. I am vaguely familiar with Baron Corbin, but I'm not sure where the wolf comes from. And obviously, I feel like Ruby Rose is pretty self-explanatory.
In my opinion, these are stupid.
I don't know why. I don't know why. Like, I understand what they were trying to do, but I feel like they should have done like a hand-drawn image or something of it. To literally just take a picture of a worm in the ground is kind of weird.
It's just cheap. Like, hey, we need a picture of a worm. Hey, can somebody go outside? It's been raining. Hey, maybe you like them. And if you do, that's great. I don't collect wrestling, so this would not be in my PC anyway. But when I saw this, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Come on. This is just a lazy attempt. I kind of understood the Bitcoin thing, the cryptocurrency rookie card, but and then this happened. This happened right afterward. I'm just like, oh, dear Jesus. Okay. Seriously, Tops Part 2 via Matt Trailer at Ball Cards. Cards spelled with a Z. Matt got his Tops Now World Series set. Jorge Soler card WS-15. He's probably excited, right? Braves win a World Series, first one in 26 years. Then he reads the back, and now he's not so happy. Steph, what does the back of this Soler card say?
The Braves are World Series champions for the 4th time in franchise history and the 2nd since the club moved to Atlanta. First of all, is there really a need to capitalize club? Anyway, the Braves displayed an all-around team effort and punctually defeated the Houston Astros in just 5 games.
How many did they actually win in?
6?
Yeah.
Club, again, overcame significant injuries to the roster, prevailed as the deepest team in the postseason, guided by a series filled with timely hits and brilliant pitching performances. The Dusty Baker-led squad is on top of MLB.
That's interesting. Is that a variation where Dusty Baker was their manager and we didn't see it, or what?
Honestly, it sounds like they went on the streets of New York City and just asked people, hey, what do you remember about the World Series? Who played? Who won? How many games did it go to? Like the segments like the Late Show, they would go out and ask what amendment to the Constitution did thing, just to see people's stupid responses. How many Dakotas are there?
This reminds me of a great scene in The West Wing when they're talking
Dakota
about
Fanning. There's Dakota
Johnson.
They're talking about PBS and they're like trying to save Sesame Street, and they're like Fuzzy Bear, and Toby's like, it's Fozzie Bear, not Fuzzy Bear, and he was part of the Muppets, not Sesame Street. and Kermit was the only crossover. But yeah, it's like you had they did play 5 games. They also played 6, but they played 5. So you're not 100% wrong. Dusty Baker was a manager, not their manager. So Topps did issue an apology yesterday saying that they are aware. They'll send out corrected cards soon to all buyers who purchase these. And of course, as soon as they put that out, Topps, like always on social media, got attacked for anything. But hey, where are my redemptions? So on. So
Topps Wood Minis. Topps Wood Minis.
You almost feel bad for them because they're trying to do the right thing with this particular isolated incident, but they've screwed up so many times that it's like you can't defend them like, oh, hey, they're actually a company trying to do right. First off, you screwed up.
Fine,
okay?
That happens.
It does happen, but it's poor quality control, not once but twice. We want to talk about grammar with the C being erroneously capitalized. It's not the first time. It won't be the last time. So, I mean, it's different when we're being particular about stupid variations of a picture of a worm. I mean, hey, that's what the card is. That's not an error or anything. That's not a mistake. It's not a quality control issue. It's just not our cup of tea. Maybe it's yours, but this is bad on the Topps Now. And this is not the first time. Most likely they had the cards printed for the Astros in 5 games or something like that. That was what was going to happen, and then they just didn't change the back. But hey, let's pivot a little bit, because Topps makes it really hard for this show, any show, all of us on Twitter to be positive. This is something that's really friggin' cool. So how's this for Austin? Tim Carroll at Tim Carroll Art Tim is a well-known hobby artist and one of, one most everybody out there is probably very familiar with, or at least has heard. He tweeted out a picture of a Sarah Michelle Gellar mini auto from A&G. He now has the complete entire non-baseball framed mini auto run from 06 through current. 2006 was the first year of the A&G iteration. It's 571 cards in total, all base/blue ink. I mean, wow,
That's
right?
Cool.
There's got to be some ridiculous names in there too, right?
Ludicrous.
Pretty amazing, all things considered.
Yeah, some of those are not cheap.
No, I mean, if we made a list of all 571, there's got to be some very, very expensive names there, right?
I tried to get the ludicrous one, and it wasn't going for less than $100.
I mean, I don't know what Sarah Michelle Gellar's, but it's not like I'm sure she doesn't have a big hobby presence. So if you're a fan of Buffy, or I know what you did last summer, part 2. I still know, I mean,
I'd love to see just the list of names.
Yeah, I mean, if we compile a list of the 571 names, there's got to be 100, 200 that are triple digits. Incredible. So we're gonna see if we can get Tim Carroll. Probably should have had him on a long, long time ago, considering what
Definitely
he does in the hobby. So
Talked
Steph's
to
gonna
him
reach out
at the 2019 National. He said he would love to come on. So
yeah, we'll get out to him. There's a lot of people that we have on a short list that we'd love to. I guess it's not a short list. There's a lot, but we're going to try to get some people on that have been different hobby contributors throughout the years that have different niches within the hobby, and Tim Carroll being one of them. So, and then we're going to ask him too. Come on, give us your top 5. How much did this thing cost? We're all friends here. So, speaking of money, Card Purchaser on Twitter put out a poll asking if you were going to be reporting your card income on your 2021 taxes. Starting in the 2023 calendar year, the 2022 tax year, all income over $600 will have to be reported by law now. With e-commerce sites issuing 1099s, it had been 200 transactions or $20,000 in the past. Remember, folks, doesn't matter if you get a 1099 or not. It's not the company's responsibility. It's yours to report your own income. It was always this way. This was always the law. $600 has been the threshold, but e-commerce sites are now going to start issuing 1099s at the lower threshold starting next year. I've heard from friends who work at the IRS. They believe e-commerce sites are going to start doing it for the 2021 tax year. I've had that confirmed by more than one source. So this isn't tax advice. You shouldn't take this to heart. You should always consult your personal professional tax person that you have in your state specifically for more information as to what you personally should do. But to say that the poll results were interesting is an understatement. Do you have the
I do.
poll up, Steph?
I do. I also had something else shared from chat. This is Shane, not Justin Bieber. This is facsimile signature, except it's not. Because that's what his signature looks like, again.
Considerably different.
Almost
looks like Yordan Alvarez.
Funny you mentioned that, because it is.
Interesting.
Thanks, Tops. Are you reporting your card income taxes on 2021? That's not tax advice. Recommend you talk to your government, blah, blah. 18% say yes. 38.3% said this is a trap. It's a trap. And 43.7% say no.
How many people voted in that?
1,200 some.
So not a small sample size.
No, not at all. There could be a multitude of reasons why someone would say no. Maybe they only hit $300 sales. Maybe they only sold $20.
Dude, I mean, as far as my card income goes, as far as what I've sold, yeah, my number's so insignificant. I'm not reporting it, not because I'm trying to skirt tax law, because, dude, I mean, if that $38 I made this year is really going to send me into a different bracket, then I suppose I will. Yeah, I mean, the amount I personally have sold, it would be no different than me having a yard sale. And then, of course, problem with yard sales, you sell $60, but then once you get that dozen donuts and the 2 pizzas, you're upside down $18. But you've cleared out a little bit of space in the old garage. You got some fresh air in your lungs. So
Okay, I stand corrected. I'm slightly over $60 for the year.
yeah, so it is a little
My
skewed.
meager amounts here.
A little skewed only because, again, people don't sell, but I mean, we can probably know that there are a lot of people that are out there that aren't going to report their income, and hey, that's your business. You're required by law to do so, but we're not here to preach. It's what it is. Consult your tax person. Just interesting poll, to say the least.
I will say, I'll admit, one year I didn't do it, but that was because eBay didn't send me the 1099 until a month after the filing deadline. So what am I supposed to do?
You're supposed to track your
File and
sales.
amended.
Well,
Yeah,
I
you do an
didn't.
amended.
That was also the first year, so I didn't know I had to.
Yeah, October 15th. So as long as it's been over 7 years, you're okay. They're not going to worry about it.
Yeah.
So eBay's got to put a stop to this via Bill Paganism. Bill sold a card to an eBayer by the name of Fred Will _41. That's Fred Will WIL _41. All right, card's $2.49. No big deal, right? Nobody's going to lose sleep over this. But upon further investigation after the guy doesn't pay, Bill says that Fred Will has over 30 reviews in the past 6 months, at least 30 reviews, claiming non-payment, scamming, and false claims. Another Twitter user responded saying, I didn't catch who it was, but they said they opened up a claim against him that same day for an unpaid buyer. I mean, eBay's not doing anything about this. It's not to say that this person can't just start a new eBay account, but can't they close this account down and just say, dude, you're not paying stuff? I mean, sellers can't leave negative feedback.
In this and the follow-up tweet, it looks like they waited a day, which, argue if you will, if that's a long enough time period. But, because to show that again, this person seems to have a trend of that, where that it's sold, but there's no non-payment.
So eBay has options to where you can block buyers and or bidders if they have one or more non-payment within the past 6 months. So as long as people are reporting it, you should be able to block them or just not let them buy your stuff moving forward.
But if I call eBay right now and go, hey, I got an issue with this Fred Will guy, and the eBay person looks through the feedback, because now it's not just positive feedback as a number next to their user profile. Now they can actually read it and go, hey, wait a minute. Plenty of sellers are attempting to let the community know that this is not a good buyer.
I think this is probably why. There's no negative feedback.
Because you can't leave negative feedback for a buyer anymore.
So you've got to do it on you've got to do it on the positive side. And are people really reading that? And I'm going to take Bill at his word that he went through them and saw over 30 in the last 6 months. He did specify it was a 6-month window. If you want to block him, by all means. I've already blocked him. Just again, I don't sell enough stuff. But when you get somebody that has a reputation like this, it's just there's so many people on eBay. It's just baseball cards, and if he's going to be a non-payer over a $2.49 card, don't want to get scammed or have to deal with the headache. I mean, even if you can open up a case as a seller 72 hours later. And eBay's doing this new thing. At least I just recently noticed it. I went in something at auction, went to pay for it today, and it says, hey, please pay by December 17th, which as of this show's air date would be 3 days. The 15th counting as 1, then 16, 17. Please pay by the 17th or you might lose this item. And, again, as a buyer, 3 days is sufficient. As a seller, 3 days is sufficient. If you can't complete a transaction in a 72-hour window, you shouldn't be buying. Just like you shouldn't be selling if you can't ship out in a timely manner. Things happen. I get it. Things happen. Emergencies happen. I ended up in the hospital unplanned, right? I'm driving home, and next thing I know, by the end of the night, I'm in the hospital. Things happen. but those are intended to be the outliers, not not an everyday occurrence. So hopefully eBay can figure out a way to stop these profiles from popping up. And so an evergreen topic that we've had for a while, Cardboard Icons Benagiri asked this question: at what point do you start to binder a partial set? So I'm building a set and I'm putting it in a binder, but you're not putting a 792 card set in a binder when you only have a dozen, right? How much of the set do you have to have, Andrew, before you're like, all right, I think I have enough now?
I will caveat this with the saying that I only binder 2 of my PCs, and I binder them the second I decide that I'm going to go for the full set. And the reason I do that is because I leave the blank spaces for the cards that I'm missing. And I do it as a way to motivate me to try and get them all, to fill in those gaps. So my answer is, the second I know I'm going for a set, I'm gonna start bindering it, because I'm gonna start trying to fill in those holes in the pages, because to me that's the most frustrating thing, when I flip through a binder and all 9 pockets are not filled.
And then you forget too. It's like, why is this?
Yes.
I've done that before with like team sets. Like
Mhm.
you had some Donruss optic cards for me, so I stuck a binder sheet in there.
Yeah.
So and then I'm going through them one day. I'm like, why is this here? Oh, that's right. Yeah. So the poll is basically 25, 50, 75, or 100. 79 people voted. This was back around Thanksgiving. The winner was 75% complete. Came in at 48%. So basically half the people responding said 75%. And then it was very similar at the rest. 20% said they would do it if they had half the set. 16% said if they only had a quarter of the set. And 15% said if it had, they'll wait until it's complete. So I was in that whole thing, 70, 80%, so that you have enough of it so that you don't have a bunch of holes. But at the same time, it's kind of cool going back to the old school days of being a kid, where you made your handwritten checklists, and you had your holes there, and it's fun to be able to binder something, have holes, and then be able to fill those as you start to fill them in. Yeah. So, Steph, what about you? What percentage?
No, right around there. If it's a twins collection, because I really don't do a set binder per se, except for maybe like Diamond Kings, which case usually after I've opened 6, 7, 8 boxes and have 90% of the set. But for the twin set, yeah, 75%, somewhere in there, just to know where I'm missing, which ones. It's much easier to do that than to open up a 300 card count box and flip through and say, okay, here's that section, but I don't know what card numbers are missing or anything like that. I can just flip through and say, okay, I'm missing cards 2, 12, and 25.
Yeah. So as a seller on eBay or any medium, if a prospective buyer message you saying, hey, what's the best price? How do you respond? This came across a while back, Swami Lee Sports. Some of the most common responses were just to ignore them. Ask them to make their best offer for consideration. It's really just kind of the only 2 responses. What do you do? I mean, if Andrew, you got something listed, you got a McGuire I want, and it's not in my price range, I know what I'm willing to pay, or I'm just looking to get the bottom dollar, and I come to you and say, hey, what's your best price? I mean,
nice. It depends. If I'm in a bad mood, I'm going to say, what's the most you're going to offer?
And that's fair, really.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to ask me what my bottom price is, I'm going to say, what's your best offer? If I'm in a bad mood, most of the time I just ignore them. Because when I'm making an offer, I just make the offer. I don't ask them what's your best price. I make the offer, and if it's their best price, then they accept it.
So in my case, the platform that I choose to use, there's no way to actually message an individual user. Few people know who I am. People recognize my username. However, I think I have mine set to, I think, 80-90% accept, auto accept, and I think they can offer up to 60%. It's not to say that I'll accept it, not to say that I'll decline it. Um, However, when I did sell on eBay, I would say, hey, it's listed at this. If you have a counter, let me know. I'm not gonna sit and play all day. Well, it's listed for 100, but I'll accept 50 because I bought it for 10. No, you play your hands first.
Yeah, it's easy to ignore people that are obviously, as a seller, you want to get as much money out of something as you can, and as a buyer, you want to get it as cheap as you can. Obviously, we know that's the dynamics of a fluid market. But if you're going to come at me and say what is the best, you listen. Right now, I've got the card listed for whatever for $100. That's the best I'll take. You're welcome to make an offer if $100 is not in your price range. But if it's a conversation, I've reached out to people before. Hey, I'm really after this card. There's a gold label card I still don't have. Class 3 of McGuire. Guy's got it for $45. If he ever puts it at auction, it's selling less than 20. And I told him, hey, would you take a $25 offer? That's really where this is. I think that's above what the market would dictate if it went to auction. He's like, 45 is what I'm willing to take. Okay, hey, cool. I'm going to go ahead and throw this out there. I'm a buyer at $25 until I buy one. So as long as I don't have one and you'll consider coming down to meet me at my price, keep this message and reach back out. That was a month and a half ago, guys. Still, every 7 days it cycles at $45 and goes unsold because it's not. And unfortunately for me as a buyer, it's the only one I've seen populate on eBay or anywhere else. So we're at an impasse. It's not a $45 card for me. I don't need it that bad. But again, if you engage a little bit, hey, Andrew, you got this card. I really want to buy it. I'm not trying to ask you. I guess I'm asking the question without asking it because I'm trying to build a rapport with you. So where I need to be. Now you can at least consider I'm not, in that case, that was my offer, $25. I'm not going any higher than that. It's just not worth it for me. For me. Doesn't mean the next guy won't. But the market has established month over month because Gold Label's been out, 4 months now or more? It's established that card's not a $45 card. I've been watching it over and over again for a long time. But what's the best price? Hey, you're welcome to make an offer. It's my card. I'll be more than happy to listen to it. But I think ignoring is probably the most common reaction. Like, you're not serious about buying. You're just trying to get a deal. So Durantula_NH asked this question quite a while back. How do you price a rainbow? Obviously, there's many ways to go about this. But what would your methodology be? And the big question really is, how low does the rainbow go, right? Does it stop at 25? Or does it go down to out of 5? Or are we also talking about a true 101 in printing plates? So little questionable there. But how do you price a rainbow if you've got one? And I know, I'm sure, Andrew, you've got enough. I don't know, Steph, how deep you get into player rainbows. But, I've got, say 14 different Donruss Optic cards, and it goes all the way down to 25 of a certain player. Do I consider how much I paid for it? Do I consider the fact that you're getting an instant rainbow by purchasing it? So, does it get devalued because it's the sum of its parts now and not individual?
Really, the only one I have of this is my Eats collection, which, if Google will play nice, I have every single base card that has been printed. For autographs, I'm only missing a number to 5 and a number to 5. One from Elite Extra, one from Bowman Chrome Draft. I've only seen one of these get listed. It sold for $30 before I could purchase it. And I know of somebody who has this that wants $400 for it. It's not worth that. It's not worth that at all. Those are the only 2 versions of that I've seen. I have every other auto in multiple quantities, and this isn't even the most updated. And then more so, I have 22 of the 42 printing plate, Topps Vault, White Ice Base, holiday super bonus. I have practically everything. One, no way I'm selling this. But two, dire circumstances. I would have to sell it as, hey, you're getting an immediate rainbow.
You went through all the hard work to get it.
Exactly. The cards aren't worth what they were. The cards aren't worth what I paid. However, you are buying instantly the number one collection of this player that exists.
Sure.
There's a
Maybe
premium
I'd sell
for
it.
that. Yeah.
Maybe I'd sell it to him or his mama. My high school's softball coach.
See, for me personally, I think, let's say it's 10 cards. Let's say each card was worth, $10 individually to go rebuild it. Probably, honestly, the premium would go below, despite the fact that you do get the instant rainbow. You have to look at the sum of the parts in real time. What would they be worth if I pieced this out? And if it came out to be $500, if somebody else can go out and replicate it for $500, am I really going to ask more than that? Because they look at it and just go, I'll just,
yes.
Now
do it,
you do
it then. Tell them to do it. If
you could. I'm looking at the other side. I think, 10, 15% under would probably be, hey, if you want to go ahead and buy one that's already built, you can do it for a little bit less than you can go out. Because again, I'm trying to sell it, right? I'm trying to incentivize you, the buyer, to buy it from me as opposed to going out and doing it. So kind of two schools of thought, right? I mean, you could really argue either side of that token. But when we were talking about rainbows, especially when you get below 25, when you start to get into the 15s, the 10s, the 5s, and of course the 101s, now premiums come into effect because availability and scarcity come into play.
Mm-hmm.
I stop most of mine around 25 just because it gets extremely pricey when you're trying to build multiple player collections. And, for me, McGuire's not inexpensive. He has a lot of competition in the market. And so you get a lot of competition when you get to those really low serial numbered cards. So there's not any real premium cards that would be included if I tried to sell. So I'd probably have to personally look at under market worth by 10 to 15% if I'm motivated to sell it.
Yeah.
So if you have an LCS local to you, within say a 90-minute drive, and they were offer a membership type subscription, would you consider joining? And what would a membership sub to an LCS look like? Perhaps discounts on wax, singles, breaks, supplies, free cards monthly as part of the subscription, early access to products. As much as, that was a little tricky just because a lot of this stuff streets and doesn't really go early, but perhaps you can get wholesale discounts. If it wasn't too terribly expensive and offered some incentives, would it be something that you would consider joining? And if you did, what would be a price point cap? I'd do it for $10, but not 20.
So I don't know. It depends on what the value you're getting, but personally, with the local area being Texas focused, maybe some of the other bigger market teams, Yankees, Red Sox, etc., Cowboys, I would pay $10, $15 to have them pull me a Twins team set, so I don't even have to bother about opening a box. Now, sure, that cuts into their box prices, but maybe I buy 3 boxes of Series 1 and not Gold Label. But you put together me a Gold Label Twins team set, by all means. Maybe they give you supplies. Maybe they give you a 1 free break. It depends. The most I think I would probably spend $25. You're at about the cost of a blaster. It's already in the budget.
Yeah, Andrew, what?
To me, it would have to. They would have to offer some sort of not quite like Montgomery Club, but you would get first crack at pre-sale for products when they release, and maybe at a discounted rate a little bit. That would be something that would be intriguing.
It's a nice idea. I like it.
You know,
because they're already paying a discounted rate over what the shelf price is going to be. So,
right. So and you know, you include that with your monthly subscription,
sure.
so that might end up covering the LCS's cost or discount that they give you in that regard. Um, you know, it'd have to be something like that. I think what the price point would be. I mean, for me personally, I get what I need already, so I would be fine. But really, I can't see it going for more than $20 a month.
So what if it was like $29.99 a month, but you get 2
Mhm.
packs of your sport of choice, and it's basically a $10 value. So
Mhm.
basically it's a $20 investment into this membership program, because $10 is allocated to getting an immediate return at some point throughout the month on something, and then most LCSs probably work on a 30% margin roughly,
Mhm.
and so maybe you get all of your products that you buy for 10% off. So now when
Mhm.
you are the consumer buying something, that it's a 20% margin, and the idea being you're giving me basically 20-30 bucks a month, but I'm buying your loyalty to try to
Mhm.
be your exclusive retailer, that you're hopefully going to come to me versus going online and buying
Mhm.
from other outlets. And it could work. A lot of it again comes down to what you said, right? Value.
Yeah.
What am I getting for my money? And it's also got to make sense for the LCS. It's not like they can give you a lot of free stuff. They just
Right.
can't.
Right. Now, I think one thing that they can do maybe is, I know Shep was talking about how they have a lot of athletes scheduled to
Mm-hmm.
come in and do some signings. Maybe you get an exclusive 1 hour before
Yeah.
with the athlete. That may be something that would be interesting, because a little more personal, a little bit more time to talk with the guys, etc. That may be something more valuable. Or maybe there's like an hour every week where it's only open to those club members, and
Yeah. If
something
you
happens then too.
if you have an LCS that does in-store breaks, group
Hmm.
breaks, perhaps you do something where like American Express does with concert tickets, where you get 24-hour early access, or however early it is. It's, hey, we're doing a pick your team, 6-box mixer this weekend, and they're going to go on sale Thursday. But if you've got the membership, you have access to Wednesday. So if there's a premium team, you're
Hmm.
in the NFL and you want to chase a Trevor Lawrence and buy the Jaguars, or you want to go grab the Dallas Cowboys to hopefully hit a Micah Parsons, or Patriots and Mac Jones, you get a 24-hour window to try to grab one of those teams before the rest of the customers have an opportunity. Depends.
Yeah.
I could see it working if there was enough incentive on
Yeah,
both parts. It's got to work for the
it's got
LCS
to be
too.
thought out. It's got to be thought out, though, very carefully by the LCS. You can't fly by the seat of your pants, basically.
Then you have to sell enough to warrant
Yeah.
it working. Um,
Oh, wow.
wow, interesting. Saw that coming. Surprised that the UC. So Adam Schefter, if you're listening, and by the time you listen to this, you are probably well aware, but Urban Meyer was
Speaking of
just let
Trevor
go by
Lawrence,
the Jaguars. So surprising
Wow.
that USC just got filled, and what else? LSU just got filled. Some of the other,
Notre Dame
maybe
got filled. Oklahoma.
Oregon's still available. Miami just got filled.
Yeah, Oregon is available.
Really surprising that Lincoln Riley took that USC job, and then this happened, because he was tied to it after the first week of the NFL season. It's like, oh, he's coached
Yeah.
1-2 games, whatever it was. I mean, he'd barely got his feet wet, but he was an absolute disaster there. So a couple last things before we get going. The shit you see on eBay and Facebook. This was a funny one. It came across on Instagram. A little humor to end the show. Saratoga Slabs sent this one out. He said he saw this on Instagram last night. Picture of a little girl. It's a meme. It says, when it's career day and your dad shows up with gloves, a brake mat, 3 absolute Football Blaster, and he goes, "Let's effing go," is his intro. Thought that was quite funny because, you know, we're going to poke fun on breakers and how many fly-by-night breakers there are. So,
Andrew, what particular size gloves do you prefer?
The
Did you go the
extra small.
polyethylene?
I
or-
go with the extra small ones, so where I can't even feel my fingers. So that way, when it's touched by me, I can't
Hey,
even say I
whoa,
felt
we're talking about card breaking here, not.
it.
and then you also had another funny one, Steph, there. If you want to go ahead and read through that.
Seeing this card on offer up for $100 made me smile. Reading the description made me laugh out loud. So, for context, it is a 1988 Pacific Trading Cards Roger Maris. Nothing special about it. Him in a Yankee outfit. It's almost reminisce of the
Looks
Billy
a little warped.
Martin finger on bat, but there's nothing special about it. $100 ships for $349 from Phoenix. Condition used. Collectibles art and collectibles. Card is not graded, but knowing that if it were, it would grade 9 at least. At that grade, it's worth $450. I don't want to go through process. I'll take $100 for it. You do the work, make a profit. Let me know.
If you can't see the picture, it will grade a 9 if it was on a scale of 9 out of 1,000. I mean, it's bent to hell. It's got creases. I don't know what he saw in this card to suggest it would grade a 9. But again, this
Centering.
one of the best sets ever made, in my opinion. I love that set growing up. I thought it was awesome. But it's probably what, a quarter card, 18 cents, 50 cents maybe.
You can currently buy one for 62 cents on ComC.
Gotcha. So you can have a probably near mint one on ComC for 62 cents, or you can buy this guy's crumpled one for $100. But hey, his is almost guaranteed to grade a 9. So that actually made me laugh out loud when I love stuff like this. So one last question, listener question. This was asked quite a while ago. US Sports Cards 1 asked, what advice would we give someone thinking about doing a YouTube-based hobby-related show?
Run, turn away now, turn away. No. If you're planning to do it by yourself, get a good mic. I'm not saying that you have to have a Yeti with a little fancy cover and the little pop filter. I mean, you should, but have stable internet if you're going to do a live show. Nobody wants to wait on your AOL dialogue connection to set up. There are several easy apps that make everything done and handle a lot of the stuff on the back end. Have some decent graphics. Nobody wants to, again, look at sport lots when they're seeing a live break or a live commentary show. I'm not saying you have to have PowerPoint level transitions or Sony Vegas Pro level of video work. It's a plus. It's not mandatory. Have a consistent schedule. So if you are going live at 8 p.m. Central and you want to do it every single week, then do it every single week. If you want to go live, every day at 7 in the morning, then by all means go live at 7 in the morning. But do it. Stick to it. It's hard. It's tough. Lord knows me, Ben, Shep, and everyone else has wanted to skip a week here, is needed to skip a week here. It happens. The show must go on. And don't be afraid to reach out and ask questions. I mean, we wouldn't be here if we didn't get tips and advice from this person, suggestions from that person, have lovely guests over the years that have advised us on things. Everything can always be done better. There are always better ways to improve your community, have better relationships with those that you have on. And as well, it being a live show or a podcast show, have some interactions with your listeners. Nobody wants to just listen to a dude sit on and talk about his card pickups for a week. I mean, maybe someone does. But, some connectivity, some interactions with chat, some interactions with your commentators. Have a posting sharing this, that, or the other, which, by the way, end of year conversations probably going to start getting posted on our social media channels, asking your guys' favorite top 10 inserts, your MVP of the seasons, that type of deal as we get to 2022 here as a wrap up of 2021.
Yeah, there's really, I mean, Steph, you hit most of especially the technical stuff very well. I mean, we learned so much along the way.
Get a producer.
And we when we started, 3.5 years ago, there was only a half a dozen real podcasts that were going on at that time. Maybe some here and there on YouTube, but as far as some of the major ones, there was only a couple, and now there's quite a few. And
I mean,
there's probably more that have them.
Sorry, that whole internet thing again. It sounded like you paused on my end, skipped a beat. Literally, our first 5 episodes, Shep flubbed the intro in some way, somehow. But sorry to interrupt.
No, that's okay. It's don't be afraid to adapt. We've adapted a lot, changed different things around, still working on things. We're still learning, and be okay. And if you can bring something different to the table, it's hard to say because there's only so much, but be you. That's what's different is I'm me, Shep was him, Steph is him. It's we had a really interesting dynamic with the 3 of us together, and we've tried to bring on different guests in Shep's absence. Reunited in it, and that was last week, man. But even Upper Deck, they're like, hey, Jason wants to come on. He'd really like to have all 3 of you on the night that he does come on because he enjoys the dynamic between the 3 of you, and we appreciate that.
And understand.
And we worked,
sure.
Yeah, we worked hard to cultivate that, and be you. That's the most important thing. Is when we come on this show, like us, don't like us. We're us. I mean, this is who you get. We're not any different on this show than we are when we're off. Perhaps it comes across differently sometimes on Twitter. It comes across because of how some of us write on Twitter that it can be, more aggressive than playful because you lose all of that inflection and
we really need a sarcasm font.
You lose a lot of tone. Yeah. Sarcasm, but just be you. That's our biggest thing. Be you. Yeah. The equipment helps the design helps, the consistency helps, but be you because you are what would be different than me, Steph and Andrew and Shep and the guys at Mojo and John Newman and all of the other great podcasters out there. So
I got a few things to add that I can kind of transfer over from the breaking world too. One of them is, be willing to take wear gloves. Be willing to take constructive criticism in stride. Don't take it personally. And number 2 would be have fun with it. I started breaking because I thought it would be fun. And I told myself that the second that this stops becoming fun, then I'm out. And it's been, I think, 4 years now into it, and I'm still having as much fun as the first week that I did it. And I think that's really important because the second you don't enjoy this, then you can really tell when it shows on with people when they're not having fun doing it.
Yeah, good advice. It's honestly probably something that we could talk on for a considerable period of time, and it's a question that was asked quite a while back. So
I have fun doing it, and there's a reason every time Ben calls me and says, "Hey, are you free Wednesday?" I say, "Sure," because I enjoy coming on. So
first time I called Andrew, and this is no kidding. Mm-hmm. I called him. He's like, "Hey, what's up?" Because he knew that we were going live like in an hour. It was like last minute, and I was like, "Hey, are you free tonight? I'm sorry." And he's like, "Hold on a second. Let me ask the boss." which is code word for wife, and so excited, like a kid in a candy store. And that's what we love about having Andrew on. And even Jason Mashira with Upper Deck said, I love the different voices that you've invited on, himself included, of course, because it brings a different perspective. And each week, we can look at different things. And I've said this before, that it's funny how all of a sudden Andrew pinch hits and there happens to be a question about soccer. We had Nick Vosbrink on and there happened to be a question about printing. And it's almost like the show writes itself for the guest that we have on any given week. And, really interesting how that works and plays out. And, don't be afraid to reach out. Like Steph said, ask questions. There's a lot of people we've asked questions from our other podcasters and content creators. What do you do? Why don't you go live? Just to kind of get that process behind their thinking and bounce ideas off. And, we learned a lot during our short period of time with another hobby show we were affiliated with for a while that we started in 2020. Learn like anything, right?
And there's another one for you. You can prepare all you want, but when the kid's got to go and you've got a dirty diaper in your hand, anything can happen. I mean, you can think you have all of the production time in the world. You have all of your videos, your graphics, your pictures, your content, your topics. Your guest is ready to go, and then your internet cuts out or your power goes off.
Yeah.
There are things that are going to happen that are going to throw you a curveball. Someone's going to bring up a Protect documentary. That wasn't on the show notes.
It was not. And that was awesome. Best conversation we've had on this show because we got answers from the man that caused the pain. Love it.
You've got to be able to adapt. And, I'm not saying that you have to be the wittiest person in the world or have the best memory in the world. That's nice. But just be able to go with the flow. So sometimes things happen.
Awesome. So good conversation. We got some evergreen topics out that we've been delaying. Had some extra time tonight with Andrew on, who's been on, enough to where didn't have the interview. We could get some topics. Hopefully you enjoyed what we had to say. As always, hit us up on About the Cards if something we said you agree with. Definitely if you disagree with, because there's some of us that really enjoy the debate. So, let's just have, end of the year again. Steph's going to start tweeting out some stuff from About the Cards podcast Twitter about favorite basketball release, baseball release, hockey, soccer release. We're going to try to get as much of that in on the 12/29 episode. We do have Joey Shiver at Dub Mentality scheduled for that evening. We're going to try to go through that.
Best postseason, best non-sports release,
best episode of the year, best guests.
Best podcast.
Best podcast. Yeah. It'd be really hard. About the Cards had two very, no offense, Andrew, but we did have Dr. James Beckett and Upper Deck President Jason Mashira on 1A and 1B.
But I'm number 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 with how many times I've been on.
That's right. You're the de facto number 3 in the box. So, and always available, almost without fault. I love it. Yes. So we thank Mrs. Bayside. So any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Not particularly.
All right. Remember,
since this is it for me for the year with you guys, probably I hope everyone has a great and safe holidays.
Yeah, just real quick. Episode 182 next week, 12/22. Dewey Lund at Dirty Deeds 529. Very long-time listener and show supporter.
Are they done cheap?
And then Joey Shiver, Dub Mentality, to round out the year, unless something comes up. Year in review and some fun topics on 12/29. So make sure if you got something you want to talk about. I love this card. This card was the best card of 2021. Let us know what that is, because we want to share that stuff. So remember, we're live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific. Steph?
10:02 Central.
Make sure to subscribe, review on all platforms. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at About the Cards. Follow Steph at
Junkwax Twins. Podcast live tomorrow afternoon.
You follow Andrew at
Bayside Breakers.
And you can find him on eBay at
Bayside Breakers.
You follow me at Our Trading Cards. Please share your hobby stories, great pulls. Send your questions our way. Have a safe holiday until we see you next week. Be safe out there. Weather's kind of getting nasty in parts of the country. So, hey, keep collecting and thank you for your support.
Indeed. See you guys next week.